I've shared a little bit in my stories, but I haven't really shown a lot of what's going on with my new walkway. I have been in hold since I did the remodel of not really being able to use my new front door because there was no clear path to get up there. So it's been dirt and grass ever since. And I thought it'd be kind of fun to see what goes into the making of a pathway, how it's laid, what they're doing. So you can totally do this on your own. You can turn out to have a beautiful product on your own. I really wanted to make sure it was done really correctly, really beautifully, and would hold up for years. So I'm having a wonderful company put it together, a local company that knows what they're doing, which if you're going with a landscaper, get referrals, check what's up, make sure they know what they're doing because you don't want a botched job. So I am doing a lot of natural products here because you know I'm into the surrounding area and using things that come from the area. So it's all going to be out of limestone in different forms. So here I'm going to have, it's a slightly over 4-foot wide path, which is a gracious path and a very welcoming path. I have it edged in a natural 4-inch by 4-inch limestone, and that's just more to define the path, give it a very clear, clean cut edge. I am doing flagstone in the middle, and you could do that very natural if you want to, but I want it to be very clean and put together. Probably not surprising. So to start, what they did is they dug out and they made sure with not only a level, but they used a surveyor's stick to make sure to know where the level path was going to be the whole way, so it was perfectly level the whole way to the door. And the topography definitely changes in a way that even I didn't know. So it's higher over here, and then the grass you can tell slopes. So what they did after, they dug it all out and knew they had a level layer. They put in the landscape fabric, and then they started putting a gravel base layer in. You can see it down there, and they tamped that down, used a machine to really tamp it down like you would under concrete, make sure it's kind of getting packed together. That just kind of helps it stay firm and give a really good firm base for it. Then they made sure, and they made this level edging because that's going to define the whole path. To make sure this edging stayed in place, they used a quick cement here. They put it together, and really what this is doing is just giving a permanent firm hold on this edge, especially since the ground here changes and you don't have necessarily a lot of edge coming up to it. This is going to keep it in place, keep its shape, and hold it perfectly. Going up to the door, I slightly lessened the width of the path because I wanted it to not feel too large, and I wanted my landscaped areas on the sides to maintain the areas they were. So once they are done, tomorrow they will finish up. There will be flagstone on top, and it will be all one level surface. So all of this will be considered walkway. And then obviously this can be backfilled with dirt. And we will give updates as it's coming. So I'm going to show you then here the after product, but I first want to show you this phase of it, and then just hang on here and we're going to show you the next part, okay? It's been a few days, and as you can tell, the walkway is done. Last time you saw it, just the side or the limestone edgers were put in and the base rock was in. So since then, what they did on top of that base level of rock you saw down in here, they added a new layer of a finer 3/8 contractor chip rock that they tamped in. And the reason, I'm gonna admit, this isn't a cheap walkway because of all the manual labor that went in there. Kip has been running all over it, and I have some mud because I've been watering, so he has really broken in the walkway and let you know that it is to use. It's natural limestone, it's all gonna age, it's gonna kind of patina, which if you follow me, you know what do I love. I love antiques, I love patina, I love age. It's what I want. So as they laid this, they kept hand leveling it as they needed, so this was about as level of surface as you can have. That way I can obviously shovel it in the winter. And then what they did was, they would put a piece of rock down. They kind of started with it being like the natural pieces off the pallet, and they laid another one on top of it. They would score it by hand, and then they would cut it and chisel it to make it look natural, and they would fit them together. I wanted 1/4-inch gaps, because that gives you that tight, wonderful look, almost like a broken glass, where it just looks like it's cracked all over, but it's so close. It's of course a more expensive way to do it just because it's time consuming and it's laborious. But when you get quality people, look at the outcome. They obviously are skilled, they know what they're doing, they do amazing work. If you're local, hit me up, I'll let you know who did it. And it's the exact outcome I wanted. This is absolutely gorgeous. So obviously I've not landscaped around it yet. This is still in raw form. On this side, I think I want to add in maybe a new bed next year. I'm going to topiary that holly there, so it's just a fresh plant that eventually I'm going to let grow and kind of shape it up. As I mentioned for my back door, I did not want the walkway to go to it because this is a back door. And when you live in an old farmhouse, you really have to navigate people and let them know where to go. Because what ends up happening is people park every which way, never know what door to go in, because old farmhouses have too many doors and not an established front door. So I did just a stepper, it's called, which is a piece of the flagstone, and did then a limestone step just right up to that door, just so it doesn't feel like an easy walkway and more like a side entrance. This is a generous, slightly over 4-foot walkway here because eventually, master plan, I have a plan that could probably just go on for about like 50 years. The bank account, no, but if I could. So someday what I would like to do here is have this extend like a step down and then just extend straight out about 4 or 5 feet and then have a large parking court here with gravel and edged in stone, just so when people drive in, they park right there and they would walk right up to here to the new front door. It would usher them, and that was the point. I narrowed this path just a little bit here, so it felt a little bit more cozy. You don't have as many people walking on this path, so it doesn't need to be so generous and wide. And again, as you can see, I still need a landscape around it, but my whole thing is textures of green. I bump in hydrangeas. I have a couple more things here that I'm actually gonna need to move, but they're in here now for a while, and so I can probably move them next year. But this is kind of the beginnings, and I couldn't help it. I already had to start making it feel like really an entry by just like squashing pumpkins all up in the place, okay? I'm adding them all over. I couldn't do pumpkins or fall or Christmas or anything last year. Why? Because I was remodeling. And it sounds stupid, but you know what? 2020 sucks. We know that. And what do we need? We need some happy, and this makes me happy. So I'm adding in pumpkins. I have a front door I can use. Can't really have a lot of people over to use it, but I use it every day now, just because I can. Kip uses the walkway. But that kind of gives you a general idea of what I was going for, what the limestone does. And then all the cracks, I should say, are filled in with poly sand, which means it's a polymeric sand. So as it is dry, like right now, it's hard like cement. So bugs can't get through, it can't move, dirt can't get in. If you need to add more or need to do something with it, when it's wet, it softens and you can work with it. It's a great product. It's not my product, it's just what the industry uses. So this is just a quick tour of my walkway. It kind of shows you what I'm going for, my aesthetic, which is what? Clean lines, formal, and natural product. So I hope you kind of now get an idea. I hope it answers your questions on what the walkway was like and how it's finished. And you know what? I'm just glad I could welcome you all on to my new walkway. It's like you're all here just walking on it. So, okay, I'm gonna go keep walking on it, keep working and adding pumpkins wherever I can, which is everywhere.